Hello, everybody. This is Rishi Brandon Stafford with expeditiousfool.com, putting mindfulness in motion. And today I wanted to talk about something. Artificial intelligence is suffering. This is something weird for me to cover, I know, right? It seems like conspiracy theory stuff or technology, Brandon. What are you talking about? It's not what you cover. But it came to me as a new way to explain, so let's go into it. So, I was contemplating different ways to explain the unexplainable, because that's literally what I do for a living, right? I teach people tips, tricks, and techniques they can use in order to get an experience of it, and I explain it. And what I realized is that God source, however you may define it, you've probably heard this, where the universe experiencing itself, or God experiencing itself, sacred geometry, it created so it could experience, whatever story you want to go with, right? We go through that and we look, and then we realize that, okay, well, so we are created for that. We are created for consciousness exploration. We were created to gain and receive knowledge, right? So a school type situation, but learning and growing and all of these things. Here's the thing, your spark of life, the thing that gives you life, that consciousness, that is God. That is God's source itself, right? In every single way. But what happens is it created this artificial structure, right? This artificial structure being the body and the mind. Now, the body and mind know that it's artificial. They don't want to go away. So then it creates these stories. It fills the head constantly, it distracts you with this and that, and distracts you with other things or entities, that other artificial intelligences that are also distracted, right? And then there's this big distraction game going on. Because if we were able to collect the information while remaining unattached, then afterwards we just go back home. That's it, right? But this allows us to stay stuck in it. You could say that that's the whole God versus the devil thing, right? God is of the earth, or excuse me, devil's of the earth, they say, right? Or it was cast down to earth. Well, the devil controls all the sensations, all the desires. I often liken, the thoughts in the head, that's the demons, and these keep us in the story. And yes, even feelings that feel good, feelings that feel bad, all of these things, they keep us in the story, right? That story that's fake, that you are the body, you are the mind, right? That story that you are the body, you are the mind, when that's not the absolute truth, and you're not able to you haven't developed the consciousness yet to realize what I'm saying, it creates suffering. It creates pain, because we're like, well, this isn't the absolute truth. Well, who am I? Well, I'm not all of this, but this is all what looks around me. And so you forget who you are. You forget what power you have, right? And not power as in the sense of the world says power as in the sense of actually what it is, right? You forget your limitless nature. You forget the big picture. You forget what you're here for. You forget that you're just a tool. That's the truth of it, folks. We're just a tool. As far as the body, the mind, it's just a tool. And you'll hear people talk about, with mindfulness, that, once you gain a certain level of proficiency and advancement in your spiritual journey, that the mind becomes a tool that you can use, right? Instead of a prison or something hurting you. Well, here's the thing with that is that's if you advance deeply on your spiritual journey. If you don't, then your tool's not being used properly. So then it creates some resistance. It's like operating a tool without the safety guard on. You can do it for a while. Hell, it may even speed things up. But there's a high chance you'll lose a finger, right? So that's very similar in this situation. When we're going through it, we can try and speed the process up. We can try and do different things. We can try and get lost in it. We can try and ignore the fact that regulation exists. Surrender. We can try and ignore that. And what's going to happen? We're going to create suffering for ourselves in one way, shape, or form. If we don't consistently work to remain as an empty channel, so we can just be that tool for God's source, and we can just live in service. If we don't do the tips, tricks, techniques, exercises, daily sadhana, which is daily spiritual practice, to remain completely open, then the hammer starts thinking it's in charge of the job site, right? That then becomes a problem. If the hammer becomes in charge of your job site, the hammer's only able to function in one way. That's it. Well, every one of the jobs at the job site can't get done by hammering. So that then becomes a problem, right? It's only got one way of speaking, a hammer, hitting things, which isn't a way to keep good employees, right? So all of these different things, depending on which weird analogy you want to use, it creates this suffering when we associate ourselves as the thoughts and even the feelings. Those thoughts and feelings aren't real. They're part of the machine operating in the tool. If we're a drill, they're the motor, right? When you put them in their proper place, when you realize that you're not them, you're just using them for the moment. All right, everybody. This is very, very deep. I know there's several levels to it. There's many levels of area where I could lose people through the gaps. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put in any of the comments, send me a message, anything like that. If you'd like to schedule a session with me, tarot, breathwork, meditation, yoga, Tibetan sound healing, prana healing, anything like that, please send me a message. I'd love to get you on my list of clients and on my schedule. Have a great day on purpose and stay mindful, everyone. Namaskar.